Kandi is in the news yet again, child. Yet again, see, I be a hater for bringing it up, but Us Magazine and all those Caucasians be reported on it, and they don't get the smoke that I get for talking about it. But I'm gonna talk about it, okay? So, Kandi, a few months ago, I told y'all about Candy's Blaze Steak and Seafood had shut its doors. Remember, I told y'all in Atlanta, and y'all was like, "No, it's not. No, it's not." I was like, "Yes, it is. It is closed. It is shut down. It's no longer open for the public." Despite all the problems that they've had in the past, they had a pow pow there, gunfights, honey. They had low health scores. They had pink slime in the ice. Hell, they had a scandal. Kandi was charging for ice. It's been so much going on. I don't even know. I wouldn't even want a restaurant after all the stuff they've been through. But I'm digressing. But if you recall back then, when was that? Kandi and her oh wait, here it is right here. Kandi and her landlord, they don't even own the building, child. It used to be Gladys Knight Chicken and Waffles, and I guess they decided to rent the building and turn it into what they want to turn it into, and they rehab the inside and everything. And so Kandi and the landlord have been arguing because apparently Kandi ain't paid her rent. And so the landlord actually sued Kandi for at least 200,000 in rental payments. But Kandi responded back then and said, "Take my name off of it. Take my name off of it." Because it was they were suing Kandi Burruss and the Burruss Tucker Restaurant Group. Okay. So Kandi said, "Why is my name on it individually? My name shouldn't be on it." So they took her name off of it. And so then they decide they are suing the Burruss Tucker Restaurant Group. Okay. That is Kandi's company, Kandi and Todd's company. Now, the company that is suing them, I guess they've been going back and forth. Hold on, some motions have been filed. How, child? Let me go back, honey. Hold on, we're gonna read the whole thing over here at Us Magazine, because we give the Caucasians their credit, honey. They hate when I say that. Okay, here is Us Magazine. Kandi Burruss Restaurant accuses. Wait a minute, Kandi Burruss's restaurant. Okay, let's get that straight because Kandi want her name out of it, but it's her restaurant. So Kandi Burruss's restaurant accuses landlord of harassment and intimidation in the $200,000 fight. The landlord is suing her for 200,000 in unpaid rent, and the doors are shut. But according to Us Magazine, it has more to do than the rent. Okay. According to court documents, Burruss and her husband, Todd Tucker's company, the Burruss Tucker Restaurant Group, asked for an emergency hearing as part of the lawsuit brought in March by Montego Pacific, the landlord for the restaurant Blaze Steak and Seafood, because apparently they're saying that Montego Pacific, the landlord, is harassing them by sending them letters. Okay. In the new motion, Burruss's companies says, and they are putting that in there because Kandi was adamant, "Don't be putting my name on it." Anyway, Burruss's company said the landlord fired off a letter on June 13th. That was a few days ago. Outside of the legal battle, demanding $190,000 and $190,450 in rental payments. We rounded it up to 200K, and they are demanding that they resume operations of the restaurant within 5 days. Wait a minute. Now, the restaurant is closed. Now, Burruss's company said the landlord made legal threats against the company, and if they did not comply with the demand, despite them being impending litigation, that they was I guess they was going file another lawsuit? That didn't make sense. A lawyer representing Burruss's company said the letter was issued for the sole purpose of harassing and intimidating Burruss's companies and to gain leverage in the pending lawsuit. Well, that's weird. It is unethical and against public policy for the party, and specifically counsel for a party engaged in litigation, to threaten criminal proceedings or judicial proceedings for the sole purpose of attempting to gain leverage. That's according to Burruss's lawyer. But Burruss Tucker Group, because I ain't gonna say Kandi because it ain't just Kandi, it's Kandi, it's Burruss Tucker Restaurant Group. The motion was denied. Kandi's motion was denied because Kandi was trying to get them an emergency hearing to allow them back into the restaurant. Now the judge denied it and said that that the defendant's motion lacked merit And we are glad that the court agreed. Okay, that's what Montego Pacific, that's what the lawyer said. In the lawsuit, Montego alleged that Burruss's companies owed at least $154,000 in past due rent on the restaurant, which opened in 2020. Montego accused Burruss's companies of also, quote, failing to keep the premises in good maintenance and repair when necessitated and when necessitated landlord incurring costs for maintenance and repair that are tenants' obligations under the lease. So I guess they arguing over the repairs because the landlord saying it's Kandi's obligation to pay for these repairs, and Kandi is saying it's the landlord's obligation. Now the landlord demanded an additional $56,000 for the repairs, which brought the number up from 154 up to 206,000. Okay, after the lawsuit was filed, Burruss slammed the landlord's decision to name her as a defendant. Y'all remember that? Now, she said that Montego added her in an effort to drum up media attention. Now, she was going to be in the media anyway because it's still Burruss Tucker Restaurant Group. We knew it was your restaurant group, Kandi. Your name on it or not does not matter. But they took her name off and it's still Burruss Tucker Restaurant Group. Now, she said it was just a disagreement between us and the landlord, according to Kandi. But to let you know, they had to drop my name off. So I think they just put my name on there anyway so that they could get publicity for the lawsuit. Child, Kandi, we know your last name is Burruss, and we know Todd's last name is Tucker. So we knew it was you, girl, even if your name wasn't on there. But I'm digressing. She also said the rest is being worked out because it really was a disagreement about some repairs that they made. And then who would be responsible for it? Burruss claimed at the time. Now here we are in July, and they still ain't paid no money. Okay, Burruss has explained. So we were just going back and forth about that basically, and that's why it turned out into what it turned into. But it looks like we're gonna come to some agreement, so we'll be fine. That's what Kandi said back then in an interview. But apparently they still going back and forth, and the numbers is still adding up. Now around that time, the landlord had filed documents to dismiss Kandi as an individual defendant, but again, they're still suing her restaurant group. Now, Burruss's companies deny all allegations of wrongdoing and filed counterclaims to the suit, which included allegations that the landlord refused to accept rental payments unless it paid 100% of all costs associated with the repairs of the premises. Now, I gotta make myself big for this because Kandi, as a landlord, you know we can't accept no damn partial payments. Kandi was like, let me give you half. let me give you half till next week. But anyway, Kandi said that the landlord was refusing to accept any rental payments unless they paid 100% of all the costs associated with the repairs and the rent. Okay. Now, in addition, Burruss's company claimed that the landlord had taken over the premises for the repairs, which prohibited the restaurant from being able to operate the business. So the counterclaim demanded that the landlord be ordered to comply with the terms of the lease and to not engage in willful acts of harassment. Well, the judge said, no, we still at it. I agree with, the landlord on this particular incident. Now, as you know, the legal drama came several months after she, was kicked off the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And at the time, she told Variety, she said, I'm deciding not to come back this year. And as you know, we have found out through sources that Kandi was offered a little bit of money, just a little bit. And she said that she can't come back for that little bit of money. She felt like it was a slap in the face, honey. And so she decided, that she would continue. She sit over there and make her TikTok videos. She said, it's been 14 seasons and they allowed us to sit around for a little too long because they were making a decision. But during that time, I had started working on a lot of other things and I got some nice big projects coming soon. That was last year. The only projects we seen her, she was traveling around with Escape. She did do Othello, but she didn't have to be there. She wasn't acting in it. So, there's that. But anyway, I'm digressing. But yeah, so Kandi is being sued. Why is Kandi always in the news for a lawsuit? Kandi, pay your bills, child. Kandi, pay your bills. She's gonna be over there with Kenya in a minute. Why doesn't, and then I wonder, why doesn't Kandi and Kenya ever help each other? Like, why wasn't Kenya helping Kandi promote her restaurant? And why wasn't Kandi helping Kenya promote her failed hair spa turned thrift shop? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. You said she on the shot. Okay, she on the shot too. Okay, that wasn't taking too much time though, because her part ain't that big. But anyway, like this video, please. Thank you. But you know what's crazy? Blaze Steak and Seafood closed a long time ago. Remember, we was talking about that because everybody was talking about how it was closed and how it was still open on the website. And people were complaining that they were showing up for parties and they had made reservations and they came with they party of 10 and the restaurant doors were closed. You remember I did a whole video about it. Well, apparently, Kandi wasn't really transparent with people because it seemed like if she was into it with her landlord, she would have used her extensive social media platform, or she could have used her mouthpiece, Don Juan, or she could have used Carmen, or she could have used somebody to tell the people that there's some repairs being made and we had to shut the door. But she didn't do that. She just let the people out there. See how much she care about y'all. She even could have used Todd. Todd could have said it over there on Daddy Daycare. He was like, coming live from Daddy Daycare. Blaze is closed this week because our landlord is doing repairs. But she didn't do that, honey. You said this is the only lawsuit I have heard of. She is not the only one that has gone through this. Okay. Kandi is not broke. Okay. Look, y'all act like y'all must bank with her. You her banker. How you know how much money Kandi got? How do you know how much money Kandi has? Y'all always be talking about how rich Kandi is and Kandi got all this money. How do you know this? Have you seen her bank statements? Have you seen her assets and liabilities? How do you know how much money Kandi has? I just need to know because it's weird. Can you Google how much money Kandi has? I mean, I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Like this video. Shout out to Princess AG. You said Kandi act like she don't have money. Please pay your bills. Pay your bills. I'm just saying, y'all ain't seen not NAM financial, not NAM profit and loss, nothing. We haven't seen nothing. No tax statements, nothing. Only thing we seen was her going to Cowboy Carter with Riley with her cowboy hats on. And Kandi just gave up her little YouTube channel since she got cut off the show. She ain't got nothing else to talk about, I guess. She used to speak on it all the time. Why she didn't go on her YouTube channel and speak on it and tell the people about businesses and how it's hard for small businesses to survive in this economy and how, fights with your landlord can end with you in court owing $200,000. Why she didn't do that? Mm-hmm. I'm jealous of everybody. I am so jealous. I don't know what to do. I am so jealous. What am I gonna do with my life? Because I don't understand. Because why am I jealous? Because I'm not in court owing my landlord $200,000. What makes it mean I'm jealous? Can somebody explain to me what makes Tanya Lee? Why am I jealous, friend? Anyway, like this video.